This week's film is about a murder mystery, a blind man's bluff, and a lot more. Hello and welcome to Talkative Reviews, The 5 Good Things, where every week we tell you about a new film. And today, the film under discussion is
Andhadhun.
Yes, Andhadhun it is. Sriram Raghavan's film Andhadhun, inspired by the French short film The Piano Tuner, is quite an exercise in deft screenplay writing and dialogues. It's really well written. Sriram, along with his team of writers, which includes Pooja Ladha Surti, who is the editor of the film, adds some really interesting touches. The dialogues, for example, bring in such a great element of humor and comedy in most unexpected ways, are something to watch out for. For instance, there's this particular scene where Radhika Apte, who plays Sophie, says bye to him and she says, "See you." Now, because the main character, played by Ayushmann Khurrana, this blind pianist called Akash, is blind, that dialogue somehow seems a little off color to her, and then she kind of feels awkward about it and she says, "Well, I'll see you," you know. And there are a lot of these funny, simple dialogues which really add to the comedic element in a thriller that's like really worth watching.
Yeah. Also, usually the movies of Sriram Raghavan is actually hardcore thriller kind of stuff, but
Right.
this movie was kind of an entertaining thriller.
Yeah, even that part now where she actually rams into him with a
Yeah.
scooter, and then later on when she's asked how she met him, she says by accident. So there are a lot of these funny elements which kind of lift the story a lot. And then of course there are the characters who obviously doff a hat to some of the past cinema in the way that they are written, but they are also exceedingly interesting. Now, in most thrillers, the characters tend to be a little cold-blooded.
Yeah.
In this one, they are morally ambiguous, but whether it's Simi, played by Tabu, or it's Akash, played by Ayushmann Khurrana, or Pramod Sinha, played by Anil Dhawan, they're all really interesting, even if they are smaller roles,
Yeah.
as Anil Dhawan's role is, of this yesteryear actors who is kind of now like sort of making a fortune for himself through real estate. He's married to this younger woman, and he really takes a lot of pleasure in going back to the past, looking up his own
Yeah.
YouTube videos of the various songs and saying, "Acha, ye comment aaya ek fan ka Denmark se," and all of that. So it really brings alive, one of the past eras, and it's pretty well done. And then there's Simi's role, which I have a feeling is a bit of a tribute to Simi Garewal.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't sure about that till a particular scene, which is, I think, inspired by one of Simi's films in which she plays a negative character. I'm not going to tell you which one. And there are several other gems like that too, which you kind of discover as you go along. Now, these characters, like I said, are exceedingly well written, but they're also very well performed. Tabu, who plays Simi, is absolutely remarkable. She totally owns the film because this is a character who is, like I said, morally ambiguous. She's a bit of a gold digger and she has no scruples whatsoever. But still, as a member of the audience, you're kind of rooting for her, as is Akash's character, who, even though he's a victim, he takes a sympathetic view towards her.
Yeah.
So all these things bring in a very sort of nice contradiction in terms of the story, and they're very well performed. Even Ayushmann Khurrana, who moves away from his typical small town boy roles, does a pretty good job of bringing in different shades to his, the boy next door character.
Yeah, the moment I saw trailer, I wasn't confident that Ayushmann Khurrana would be able to pull it off. But the moment I saw the movie, like, he exceeded my expectations.
Yes, I think it's an interesting, addition to his repertoire of movies.
Yeah. Also, I like the role of Manav Vich, who played as a cop. Although he has only a few dialogues, he expressed his all emotions through his expressions, his helplessness, everything.
Actually, that's right, because that's a character who is very important and very integral to the film, but he doesn't have too many lines, he doesn't have like a lot of screen time in that sense, and yet, yes, he catches your attention. So absolutely, I agree with you there. Another interesting aspect to Andhadhun is the music. Amit Trivedi's music, as always, is dependable, it's good, it's edgy. But the interesting thing is that this is a thriller that we're talking about. And normally we would complain कि गाने नहीं ऐड किए होते तो बहुत अच्छा होता, pace थोड़ी slow हो गई. But इसमें you don't feel that, you know, because again it's part of the narrative. Very cleverly, they've chosen a protagonist, Akash, who's a pianist. So obviously music is a part of his life and it doesn't feel like it's forced into the narrative. And the songs, again, they bring back a feeling of the older films that we've grown up watching. And they also mention that it's a kind of a tribute to the Chitrahar and Chitrageet, which I think you guys were too young to watch.
Yeah, the song Naina Da Kasoor, it has those contemporary beats, but it also gives those retro vibes. And like it reminds me of that song by Asha Bhosle, O Mere Sona.
Yeah, you're right. That particular, the last part of it has that ring to it, of course. Another part that I thought was very, clever was that last bit when the credits roll out, they show you all those songs with piano scenes in them. Now, I thought that was really cool because Hindi films without a great dramatic piano scenes were never complete. And then, of course, last but not the least, the director of the film, Sriram Raghavan. Now, obviously, he made a name for himself pretty early on in his career with the film Ek Hasina Thi, and everybody knew him as this edgy thriller writer cum director. However, big success and popular mass appeal seems to have eluded him so far. But with Andhadhun, I think all that's going to change. I mean, it was so difficult for us to find ourselves a seat in that theatre because it was absolutely packed and people were absolutely clapping and whistling and preempting the lines and all of that. So I think he has a big success on hands. So kudos to him, and of course we'll expect many more exciting thrillers from Sriram in days to come. So those are the 5 good things from us this week. If you like this video, then like us, subscribe to us, and of course follow us on social media. Thank you.